And people think that this is the law. No, it's not. It's what you was given, and it's the best thing that we're working with. But reason is reason. People speak as if you cannot find some sensibility and camaraderie and a way to live without the Bible, and that's just simply not.
I'm glad that Illa brought up the subject of love because I think that we do not operate off of that enough. We sit up and we talk about the Bible and we know all of these verses. We know all of these things about what Jesus did and said and where it came from and who did what. But we fail to follow the one thing he told us to do. And a lot of people hear me say that I'm not a Christian, I do not go to church. I don't subscribe to a lot of that, right? But what I do subscribe to is the things that he taught, that red text, right? And I don't other people. I don't disqualify. I don't shun people for being who they are and believing what they believe. And I think that the main people who talk about, and I'm not talking about anybody here specifically, unless it applies to you, I don't know. But people who other people who make differences because what they do doesn't look like what we do. The fact that you all will discount them and say that they're not a part of us at any point, no matter who they are and what they do. If they have my skin color, if they have any tone of our people, they are a part of me. I don't know what to tell you. And what I was told and what I've always believed, what my mother has always taught me, is that you treat people the way you want to be treated. You love people. You take care of your people. Period. And we talk so much about what people should do and what the Bible says that we fail to love people. We fail to take care of our own people. And we sit here and we point fingers about single mothers this and black men that and all of this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, the failure of the black community and the reason why we will never get anywhere is othering, and we refuse to love each other no matter what, because it takes nothing. So I just thank you, Illa, for bringing that up because it's extremely important to talk about that, especially being on the subject of the Bible when that's the one thing he asked of us. He didn't ask nothing else of us. He asks us to take care of each other and love each other. That is it. That is all. Everything else came before him. And if you think that he died on the cross for you and you refuse to love people because somebody gay or somebody a single mama, then you're not doing anything that he said do.
So, Trey, if you don't mind, right? Because I spit a lot of verses, right? So I guess that if Bo prefaces her comment with you know all these verses and etc., I would be a part of those people that do that, right? So now, so simply put, you don't know what to do unless you know the verses specifically, right? So as an example, Mark 12 and 29, which is very important. It says, "Hear, O Israel." So even right there, Jesus in red letter pinpoints a specific people, right? Just to point that out because it was kind of said like he only said one thing and then he gave two commandments. So at the very least, we know it's more than one thing. But again, if we want to reference these things, then we have to be accurate. You know what I mean? I don't disagree with love. Now, love isn't just roses and bubbles, right? Love is also rebuke too. It's also correction. So I fully agree with that, right? Love your neighbor as yourself is the second commandment, right? But the first one is love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, right? And to love God, you keep his commandments. And this is why I got to correct these things when they said, right? But I agree with the overarching message. I just want us to understand that when we start referencing things, we want to reference them correctly. That's why I give book, chapter, verse. But I agree with Illa, and love looks a lot of different ways. You heard? And when I see the Muslim brothers across the street, We check on them bean pie eating niggas and make sure they good. And then they say y'all niggas dress like Power Rangers. And then we go and we make sure they straight. You know what I mean? So it's definitely like that. You know what I mean? Even though we don't agree on all the concepts, right? You know, but those are our brothers, point blank, period. So you exist in this earth, right? Vengeance ain't ours, right? And Miss Mona's been saying that kind of all night. You know what I'm saying? So
Can I just anybody? Oh, so I'm sorry. Any other ladies want to speak?
no. Oh, sorry.
Any ladies want to speak?
He said no.
No, I just say this. I just think that I know this may sound crazy, but we don't know what God said. We know what people said he said. We know what people said God's name is. It's like none of these are facts. We know that there's something above us, and we know that it's something that's greater than us that made us. None of us really know what it is, its intention. We just know that there's a higher force in us. So I think that a lot of us just can't fathom that. Some people just, it doesn't resonate with them like that. And people think that this is the law. No, it's not. It's what you was given, and it's the best thing that we're working with. But reason is reason. People speak as if you cannot find some sensibility and camaraderie and a way to live without the Bible, and that's just simply not so. There's been civilizations before these beliefs. So I'm not saying that so people can change it. I just think that we need to stop assuming or thinking that if somebody don't understand the Bible or the Quran, like that don't mean they missing anything. The only time someone's missing something is when their life and how they're living is showing a state of lack that's causing somebody else to have a state of lack. Outside of that, we just doing the best we can. And I think we just really be thinking like, oh, we don't know what God's name is. It's a million names for God. It's a million different perspectives. It's a billion, gazillion, willion, trillion, billion. So it's like at the end of the day, what do we focus on? What really matters? And that's how we live with each other. And that's just being reasonable. Like I feel like the world has evolved to a place where we should be able to use these books and use these tools to just get it. Like it's I just think we overcomplicate what these texts are really saying. And the truth is very, very simple, and it's not as exact as people think it. Like a lot of these things are just parables or just an attempt to try to explain a concept that's way beyond what we talking about. Like I just think it's just a lot more to know. It's a lot of different perspectives how to look at things. Like some people even look at Eve and Adam as, uh a literal story. You know what I'm saying? Like that literally happened. Like it was just two people and then that's it. And it's like it's a belief. We don't we that's not we can't prove that. You know what I'm saying? And no one can prove that, and no one will ever prove that. It's just going all we gonna say is we're gonna say the Bible said or the Quran said, but that doesn't mean it happened. So what I'm saying is we have to be able to accept people who not dealing with this at all. My question to all believers, all religious people, how can you connect with a person who don't believe what you believe? If you can't connect with somebody because they don't believe what you believe, I don't think you're an involved person.
If I could real quick, one of the things that I appreciate about the Bible is the fact that they do give substance on how to go about living life, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to agree with everything, but it does give clear instructions. And when you talk about, how do we live this life in 2025? One of my favorite books in the Bible is Esther. Esther was a bad mama jamma, right? She never said God. She never said Jesus, not one time throughout that entire book. But it was her character. It was the way she lived her life. It was her tonality. It goes back to what I was saying earlier. It was her posture in which she was able to free generations and lands. So how do we do that in 2025? Again, being able to bring people together and unify one another is an act of love. And being able to do that, that has nothing to do with religion. That has everything to do with who you are as a person. However, I will also say that when you come into and you want to bring in religion, now you're talking about principles and ways God has taught us to live, in which to what Hemp was saying earlier, yeah, there is still principles that we have to live by. However, when we want to then practically, excuse me, bring that into 2025 and what that means and how we live in each other today, it goes back to love.
But let me just say this real quick. You can learn how to live right, barter systems, create a civilization from many different religions. You got the people in China, they Buddhists. They winning right now. They ain't Hokomo Shando and doing the hucklebuck. They not doing that shit. You can get truth from anything. You can learn from a dog. You can learn from a cat. Like, this is, you can get truth from anywhere. You can find a principled way of living from Buddhism, from Christianity, from, it's just regiment. It's regiment and uniformity. That can build that's, you can find that in a fraternity. You can find, it's just regiment and uniformity. The principles of living right are universal. They're not Christian, they're not Islamic, they're not Buddhist. It's the ways of peace in different forms, different dialects, different garb, different language, different names for God, because Jesus, like Jesus, he always spoke in parables to meet people where they at. But the concept is what we need to focus on, not the rituals, the concept. And those things are universal. They're universal. They're not owned by the Bible. You can find these principles in many different spiritual walks.